Okay. So once again, he goes to the architect office and assuming that uh, assuming that Adham is the architect engineer, and this conversation will take place. So Adham will ask me, I am a customer, and tell me what are your requirements for the house that you want to me to design. Uh, there's no talk at all about anything regarding the implementation or the setup of the house in reality. So they will start. Adham will start telling me what are your requirements? What do you want to see in the house? So I will tell him I will have a small swimming pool, a small garden. I will have I will have one base floor and another floor for my wife and for the kids. And maybe I want to have 5 rooms at the second floor, and then I want to have a reception and a kitchen at the floor. So all such stories are called. I am recording the class. Anna, I'm recording the class already. Does it
Okay,
appear?
doctor. No, it's not appear to me. Doesn't appear. That's okay.
No, I'm recording. I am assuming recording.
Okay, thanks.
You are okay. So basically, this conversation, I am telling Adham or engineer Adham, I am telling him what are my business requirements. So business requirement is like a story. You are expressing to the engineer Adham, you are expressing to him what are your requirements for the house, the villa, the home, etc., etc. So this is basically the user requirement, and then Adham will take those business requirements and he will put them uh, into a document in a very structured way. And if Adham wants to use UML for this, we are not studying this, but I think uh, this is being studied at one of the courses, at least at my year. So Adham will use UML to design what's so-called a use case diagram. So use case diagram will be basically used uh, to define, to draw the user requirements. And it's basically very nice, simple shapes for converting the story that the customer, which is me, told Adham about the business requirement. And if I want to show you how the use case diagram will be, so it will be something like this. Do you see the Explorer?
Yes, يا دكتور.
هو الدكتور علق ولا؟
الدكتور علق يا جماعة، ما كنتش عارفين. نور يا ياسين.
So I'm back. Sorry for this. So what I was saying that I am telling what I want to engineer Adham, and he will use UML, what's so called a use case diagram. He will use it to put my requirements, uh, to put my requirements into what's so called a use case diagram. And then uh, and then Adham will start designing the house. What does it mean, designing the house? Designing the house means that I will state explicitly anything and everything. So if I go and I want to design a kitchen, so I want to say what is the height and the width of this kitchen. Where will I put the dishwasher? Where will I put anything and everything? What will be the lighting here and there? What will be the electricity? Every single detail that you are seeing in your kitchen will be put on paper. And this is basically the most important part. Adham will put anything and everything, it will be put into paper, and it will look like this. I'm just giving you an idea. So it will look something like this kind of drawing. So this is basically your home. And then if you focus, of course, there will not be one drawing, of course, several drawings. So if you focus on this room, so you will have anything and everything related to the design of the house and the design of your room. So this is basically if you want to design a house. But what if I want to design an application? So it also starts by the owner, the one who wants this application. He will go to Adham, and Adham, in this case, he will be called a business analyst. And then he will get the requirements from the user, and he will put them into a structured format, which is a use case diagram. And then Adham Adham is a designer. He is an architect. He is a designer. So Adham will convert this into a UML class diagram. Will convert this into a UML class diagram. And then later on, there are uh, other diagrams that illustrate the hardware and many aspects of the application that the customer, which is me, want Adham to build. In this course, only we're focusing only on class diagram. And as I said, in other courses, you will be focusing into many other diagrams. So a class diagram, the name implies that it is describing classes. It is describing classes. I forgot to tell you that Unified Modeling Language is a standard design language. It's not bound to specific programming language. It is used with object-oriented language. So it is basically used with Java, with C Sharp, and with C++ and other object-oriented languages. So we are focusing on the class diagram. So let's see what will be the elements of this class diagram. So the class diagram is basically showing classes and how those classes are interacting together, how those classes are interacting together. And at the end of this lecture, we will see some samples of class diagrams and we will see classes and how they are interacting with each others, So the class diagram, what it identify classes and identify how those classes are interacting with each other. If we focus on the class, we will have the name of the class, we will have the attributes of the class, and we will have the functions that exist in this class. And then we will see how we will interchange the relationship between the classes and each others. So first thing, uh, if we are focusing on the class, if we are focusing on the class, so we will be seeing the noun, and the class name should be a noun, and it is preferred to be singular. It is preferred to be a singular, not a plural name. So like a desk, like a light, like a router, like chair, like table, like etc. etc. And then we will be having the verbs. The verbs, those should be the function. So uh, so you have to name you cannot name يعني you may not name a function that says Adham smart Adham, but you have to name it like a verb. So so it's a verb. So withdraw, deposit, add, subtract, divide. So it has to be a verb and it has to be an action to be done. The attributes, they are also nouns and they can be singular or plural as well. And then in the class diagram, we will identify the relationship between the classes and each others. So we pretty know by now what's a class and what's an object, and someone tells me what's an inheritance, and some other one tell me what's an abstraction, and a third one will tell me what's encapsulation, and the fourth one will tell me what's a polymorphism. So let's start by inheritance. Anyone tells me what's inheritance?
inheritance لما يبقى فيه class parent وفي كذا class تاني uses the same functions أو ال public سواء بقى function أو variables من الكلاس البيرنت ده.
Okay. So inheritance means that I have a super class. I have a super class and I have it, which is a parent class. I'm sorry, which is a parent class, and I have a child class. This is called inheritance. And the name implies, so I am reviewing, the name implies that the child class inherits what they inherits the functions that some of the functions or all of the functions and the attributes that exist in the parent class. And what we have taken so far is the public inheritance. Then what's abstraction? Someone other than Freddy. Thank you, Freddy. What's abstraction?
Abstraction is hiding the implementation from the user by making
Yes.
a .h and .cpp files.
Yes. But CBB file is not an abstract file, Mustafa.
Yeah,
The
I
header
mean
file
we
is
have
an
the
abstract file. So you're pretty right. So abstraction means that I am handling the implementation detail. So an abstract class contains only function headers without the C++ code implementation of this class. So some other one tells me what's encapsulation.
It's having some variables in the private or public or the protected section.
Not really variable, not only
It's the
variable.
variables and the attributes and methods. Both of them.
Yes, that's fine. But what is the use of encapsulation, Yana? Why do we do encapsulation, yeah?
To protect some variables so the user can't change them in the main file.
Yes, this is called a C++ definition of encapsulation. But I always want to teach you to
Grouping
say,
them,
uh,
grouping
so
them
to-
together.
yeah, for what reason?
Don't know, we group them together.
Yeah, for what reason?
For hiding,
What is the beauty of encapsulation in general?
hiding sensitive data.
You're near, but not
For
exactly.
easier reference and organization مثلا of the code
Using?
using a I said for easier reference and organization of the code.
Yes, you're pretty near, but not
Security?
exactly.
To prevent direct access to the data?
Yes, encapsulation is data hiding, yes, but it's not exactly what is the
Yeah.
beauty of encapsulation still.
And each class has its own its own set of attributes and its own set of
Yeah,
functions. and
that's
كده.
also
Can be used many times.
yes, this is what I'm looking for. Yes, to be used many times. So basically, encapsulation means that you're putting the data and the functions together, and you're putting a sufficient set of field of attributes and function together in one class. And what is the purpose of this? The purpose of this is to be able to reuse the class again and again and again. Of course, encapsulation means data hiding as well. So what Rana was saying is a technical term that refers to encapsulation, which is putting the public and the private, which regulates using the attributes and the functions together. However, encapsulation also means data hiding. So always I say that encapsulation, you remember capsula. And what does it mean by capsula? It means that you need this capsula without knowing the details of this capsula, how it will cure you. So encapsulation means binding the data and the functions together in a class, which means that I can reuse it. And someone tells me what's polymorphism. Once again, in English, you have to understand the terms in English first. You have to be able to express, sorry, Yasin and Ghada, I just want to continue. You have to express, you have to understand, you don't have to memorize. And in the exam, there's nothing to be memorized. So you have always to rationalize what this term means in English. And if you know what does it mean in English, you will get the C++ implementation later on. So coming back to Yasin, so what's polymorphism, Yasin, in English?
So it means that when something has multiple forms, so for example, the same person can be a student, he can be an athlete, he can be a brother. So it's when
Yes,
something has multiple forms.
and in the case that he has multiple forms, this means that what's the beauty of polymorphism?
He can respond to different things differently.
Yes, he can respond to different things differently. This is one aspect. What is the other aspect? So if you have two functions that are the same name, if you that are the same name, what does it mean? It means that they are having slightly different functions. So what does this mean? This means that you are enriching this, you are enriching and you are putting more value to the classes, to the child classes and stuff like this. So Ghada, you want to say something, yeah? Ghada?
Yes كنت هقول إن yes كنت هقول that we use it when we want to change the logic of the function in the form of overriding or change the type of return or parameters numbers or
Yes, that's
or
overloading,
type.
obviously, yeah.
Yes.
So we have
Yes.
overloading, which is the same name of the function and different parameters. And we have overriding, which is related to what kind of relationship between classes, Ghada? We use overriding with?
Overriding with the virtual يعني.
Yes, which is between, what is the the relationship between the classes that have يعني implement the virtual concept, yeah.
Abstract classes.
No, not really. What is the relationship?
As
علاقتهم
type.
ايه ببعض?
inheritance.
Yes. Inheritance, yes, this is what I'm looking for. So virtual is used between inherited classes. Adham, you want to say something?
Well, I wanted to say something, but يعني I put my hand down because I thought it wasn't that important دلوقتي.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so returning back to the class diagram after this small review. So the class diagram means that you have a set of classes that they interact or they are related somehow to each other. So what's not represented into the class diagram is the implementation details. And what are the implementation details? They are the C++ code. So you will see the design, and the design implies classes and the relationship between the classes together. So I think you know this by now. So this is sort of a review for you as well. So basically, this is the class, and this is the class name. And if the class name is with bold, or at least it's not italic, this means that it is a normal class name. If it is italic, so it's an abstract class name. And those are the names of the attributes, the data type, and the visibility of the attribute. So the visibility of the attribute, it can be public. We know that we know public, and we know private as well, but we don't know protected so far. So the visibility applies to both the attributes and the function. The function can be public, private, protected, public, private, protected, public, private, protected. And the attribute can be public, private, protected. That's fine. So public, always remember the word, it's seen by everyone. So any object that belong to this class will see the public functions and or attributes. Private means it is related to this class, and that's why we use the getters and the setters to access the private function. Protected. When I say protected, always remember inheritance. Always remember inheritance. So basically, protected, I put them in the parent class. We will see an example about this. I put them in the parent class. And at the end of the day, I put them in the parent class. And at the end of the day, they are seen by the children. So this is very similar when your father or your mother tells you only members of this family will see so and so in the house. However, the guests will not see so and so in the house. So protected means what? Protected means that it is allowed to access this function and all this attribute by only the children, by only the children, by only the children. يعني دي حاجات بتاعت العيال. So no one will be accessing them except the kids, except the kids. So this is what's meant by protected. So the class, the name of the class, the attributes, and the functions, and you have to write the data types. You have to write the data types, and W and H, they are the input parameters, and this is the data type of W. This is the data type of H. And then this function is called distance. And this function returns a double. This function returns a double. This function returns a double. So what is the input that this function takes? What is the data type of the input that it takes? So someone tells me. So function distance, what's R?
Object of class rectangle.
ممتاز ممتاز. So R is an object of class rectangle. So R is an object of class rectangle, is an object of class rectangle. So that's fine for the distance. And those plus and minus, they are public, private, or protected. So plus is public, hash is protected, and minus is private. So anyone doesn't understand, don't worry about derive. It's not basically available in C++. I'm just putting it for completeness, yeah. So anyone doesn't understand what this slide is all about?
Doctor, I just have one question about protected. Will be
The
used
most important aspect is to classify your question. Is it Sahif's question or just normal question?
it is a normal question, I think.
It's a normal question. So we consider it a public question. Okay.
Okay. Protected, are we gonna use it a lot in this course, while we're just taking it for general knowledge?
No, not for general knowledge. Derived is for general knowledge, but protected is definitely you're going to use it a lot of time in this course.
Okay.
And it will come in the exam as well.
We can use setters and getters for it as well. So the same idea for private.
You don't need to
we-
you don't need to do so because they are used by the kids. If you want to access them from any place else other than the kids, then you have to provide the getters and setters for them. But if you are not a kid, then you have to use getter and setter. If you are the child of the parent, so if you are not the child of the parent, so in this case, you have to use getters and setters. Okay.
Another question, Malish. When we came to do the inheritance, the syntax is colon and then public, the name of the class.
Yes, yes.
We're inheriting the public section of
Yes,
the
yes.
parent class. For the protected,
Yes.
how is inherited? We write protected on the name of the class, huh?
Well, to use protected, there are several ways, but one way, yeah, there are several ways. يعني not several ways, يعني there are there are what's so called protected inheritance, but this is not covered in this course. And protected is very similar, yeah, Adham, to the word public. So this is protected, and you put the height and width, and you can, instead of public, you can say protected here. So like you are using public and protected, public and private, you can use protected as well. Okay.
Oh, so I didn't understand how we're gonna use the protected if we're inheriting the public of the class. That's because we also can't inherit the private of the parent class without yani, saying it's a private inheritance.
So the public of the class, if you are a child, so you can use the public and the protected. So 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Width and height, those are protected. So
Mhm.
this class that is called shape inherits from rectangle, inherits from mean.
Shape.
So it can use width and height. It can
Okay.
use width and height. So basically it can use the width and height without the getters and setters. What if the width and height are private? Can you use them
No.
here? No. So this is basically what's protected.
Okay. Nice.
So I'm returning back, and now we will say some good stories. So I'll have Yasin with me. So he's my friend in the stories for this lecture. So Yasin, you're with me?
Yes.
Yes, Yasin. So Yasin, if you are seeing this picture between this lady and this dog. So, what is the relationship between the lady and the dog, Yasin?
The lady is the owner of the dog, and the dog is the pet of the lady.
Yes, that's fine. So, there's a relation between the dog and the lady. Is there a relation between the owner and the cat?
No, there's no cat.
Yes, there is no cat in the picture. Yes. So, basically, the lady owns the dog, and the dog is being owned by the lady. So this is a kind of a relation. So assuming that the owner of the dog traveled and disappeared, so the dog will still exist or not?
Yes.
Yes. So, and if the dog dies, so will the lady die?
No.
No. Okay. So this is a relationship. يعني it means in Arabic في علاقة. So this is the weakest type of relationship. There's a relationship, but this means that the dog has its own life. The lady has her own life. They will meet at some time in the day. They play together. So there's a relation between each others. So this is called association relation. So association relation means that there's a relation between two classes. However, those two classes can exist independently without uh, independently from each other. Okay. So every word of what I am saying will be converted to C++ sooner or later. So this is called association relationship. Can anyone other than Yasin, of course, because he's my friend in story, tells me what are the kinds of association relationships that exist in real life? Forget about the crap of C++ and the technical terms and all such stuff. I just want to know
Ownership.
examples of association relationship. No, to tell me the relationship, there should be two parties. there should be two parties.
The
So
man owning the dog?
no, I want something else from real life, yeah, Muhammad.
Can it be like me and my parents?
You and your parent. No, it's not. It's not an association. It's more
Owning a
stronger
car?
than a. Excuse me. Mustafa Zidane, you're
Owning a
right.
car?
The car and the owner. Yes. Yalla, tell me more examples. You can use the chat, and anyone that says something right or wrong, right, will get a bonus. So I will tell you if you are right or wrong. So tell me example of association. Lots of examples in life.
A
Is
manager and
association.
people working in the company?
Yes, that's fine.
Owning the company?
مثلا
Yes.
هو احنا we should write in this chat ولا نقول كده ولا
In the chat, so Yasin, library and the books. No, Yasin, this is another kind of relationship. Flower and the sun. Yes, but what is the relation, ya Adam? There should be the relation.
انه يعني the sun helps the flower grow in some way. مش عارف الفكرة دي جت في دماغي.
You're very romantic, ya Adam. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I will consider it right. Abdurrahman, the laptop and the mouse. Yes, Abdurrahman. Kenzie, city and the residents. Yes. Ikram, student and teacher. Yes. Yasin, airplane and passenger. Yes. Ghada, Amir, owner and the company. Yes. Bank account and the customer. Yes. Adham, AUC and the student. This is too generic, Adham. No. Doctor and the patient. Yes, yeah, under. Okay. I will let you give other examples later on. Club and the players. No. I'll tell you why later. Okay, so association, it's a weak relationship. يعني اتصاحبنا النهارده افترقنا بكره. That's very fine. Okay. So association is a generic relationship. And then we have two kinds of relationship that are part of that are more stronger than association. But there are two types of association, two special types of association. So it's a stronger relationship. So let's come to my friend Yasin again. So the tail and the dog, Yasin. So what is this kind of relationship, Yasin, in English?
The dog is composed of a tail and other parts.
No, you mean the tail is composed. The dog is composed from tail and other parts. Yes. Yes. So the tail is part of the dog. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What if the tail is cut for the dog? The dog will live or die?
Yani, he can still live.
He can still live. So this is called aggregation. So aggregation in two words. I'm having some coughing, but don't worry, it's not corona. Okay. I just have a light cold. So, Habibi. So aggregation means it is a part whole relationship. So the tail is part of the dog and the leg of the dog is part of the dog. So this means that it is part from the whole. But if the tail does not exist, the dog will exist. But what if, returning back to Yasin, It seems that this lecture is an Animal Planet lecture. So coming back to Yasin. So Yasin, assuming that you have the bane of the dog, it is what kind of relationship between the bane and the dog?
The dog cannot exist without the brain.
Yes, and it is the bane is part of the dog.
Yes.
And if the bane dies, then the dog will die. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. So composition is an association relationship. And it is the strongest association relationship. And it is called apart from a whole. Aggregation is a part of a whole relationship. So can you tell me examples of aggregation and composition in the chat? And whoever answers right will get a bonus. Yes, let me see some stuff. Ghada, the human and the arm, is it aggregation or composition?
It's aggregation.
Thank you, Ghada. Correct. Yasin, aggregation, the library and the books. Great, Yasin. Under composition, car and motor. Yes, you can look at aggregation and you can look at composition. I think it is more into composition. Cars and tires, yes, Yasin, it's aggregation. Composition, car and engine, yes, as well. Ikram, hand and fingers. Hand and fingers, aggregation or composition?
Aggregation.
Yeah, that's fine. Manager and workers, no, it's association, not aggregation. So Mustafa, Zidane, cat and what's Zidane? Cat and what? Cat and brain, yes, it is composition, but what's aggregation يا زيدان؟
الباي يا دكتور اللي هو الايد بتاعتها.
Yes, that's fine. Anna, house and furniture, yes, thank you. Mariam Iskander, she tried to answer, but I guess Yasin, store and merchandise, yes. Mariam Magid, room and chair, yes. So all of you are perfect, mashallah. So airport and airplanes, yes. Yasin, Mariam, yes. Yasin also, Adham, yes. Okay, that's great. So now you know what's association, what's aggregation, and what's composition. So association, this is a class, and this is another class, and this line denotes that there's a relationship between those classes and each other. Inheritance means this is the parent, and this is the child, and this is the inheritance relationship. A line and a triangle with a white space. Aggregation, this means that this class is a part, this is UML of this class, and this is a white diamond. Composition, this means that this class is a part of this class, and this is a black diamond. Okay, we'll have more and more from this in the upcoming slides. So, inheritance, a superclass and two subclasses, a bank account, wait, Adham, a bank account, and then I have a checking account and saving account. Saving account and checking account, they are the children of the bank account. So always the diamond is looking at the parent. The diamond is looking at the parent. So inheritance is a generalization, specialization. So this means, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I got you a book, and this book is really very interesting book. I will tell you about this book after the lecture. So stay tuned for, and it will benefit you so much in this course. So it is a generalization, specification, generalization, specialization. A superclass, this is a general class, and subclasses, this is a specialized class. And it is described as is a relationship. So saving account is a bank account. Checking account is a bank account. So saving account and checking account, they are children of a bank account. So this is inheritance. So association, I'll go back to Adham. He has a question.
Doctor, so I understood يعني what does aggregation mean, what does composition mean. Of course I know what inheritance is, بس أنا ما فهمتش association. مش فاهمها قوي because some of the examples.
Association is a relationship, yeah, Adham. So,
what type of
I'll give some examples now, so don't worry about this. So, association means we're not done with the lecture anyways. So association means that this class uses other class. So in your assignment, there are lots of associations, and which is basically the customer and the order. The customer and the order, they have a relationship between each other. The customer will order something. So the customer class will use the order class. They are connected to each other. They are connected to each others. Okay, so there is a relation. So if you have a friend in this class, so let's say Adham and Freddy are friends. So you have a relation, which is friendship. طبيعة العلاقة friendship. Okay? If la qadar Allah, you have a girlfriend, so you and your girlfriend, you're having a relationship. You're not married. You're not engaged together. So so there's a relationship, but you can leave each other safely. So association means a relationship. So a professor and a book. What, Adham, what is the relationship between the professor and the book?
The professor مثلا uses the book to teach the students?
Yes, that's one kind of relationship. The professor writes a book. So if you look at this part, so the professor wrote a book. So this is the name of the relationship. What is the relationship between the student and the teacher, yeah, Adham?
The teacher teaches the student.
And what is the relationship between the student and the teacher?
The student learns from the teacher.
Exactly. So there are three kinds of association relationship, three categories. First, a unary association, which means يعني in simple words العلاقة من طرف واحد. So the professor writes a book. خلاص, that's it. But there's no relationship between the book and the professor. Okay, this is a hypothetical example, yeah. So it's one directional relationship. And there are two directional relationships. So I will give you an example about two directional relationship. And there is a three directional relationship type. So association means I have a unary association. Unary يعني واحد. Binary means two. Ternary means three. So I can have unary association, can have binary association, I can have ternary association. So what's important? What's the feature of association? The feature of association that if Adham leaves Freddy or Adham leaves his girlfriend, his girlfriend will not die and Adham will not die. Both of them will live their own lives. So the lifetime of the two classes will not be disturbed. This will be translated to C++, of course. So unary association, binary association, ternary association, and we will give an example of each kind of relationship. So the person and the car, it is basically a unidirectional association. So a bidirectional association. In your Facebook, you have a user profile, and it has and the user profile has a profile picture, and this profile picture exists in the user profile. So this is a bidirectional relationship. Then there's a ternary relationship. There's a ternary relationship, and we will see it in a moment, and we will see it in a moment. We will translate next lecture this into C++ code. I just need you to conceptualize and understand what is association. Yes, Ghada.
هو how the profile picture know that يعني the relationship between
Yeah, this is in the implementation of the association. So I will let you know this next lecture, inshallah. Okay.
Okay.
Ghada, here in this lecture you will understand UML, and next lecture you will understand how to implement this in C++. How to implement this in C++. Okay. So the professor and the book. What is the relationship? The relationship is that the professor wrote a book. So this is called, this word wrote, called, what is the kind of relationship? Okay. So this is the word wrote. تمام. طيب, then the professor, what's his role in this relationship? He is an author. What's his role? And the book, what is the role of the book في العلاقة دي, in this relationship? So it is a textbook. And the professor can write 0 and many books. So it will be written 0 to star. And what does this star donates? It donates n. Can write 0 books or n books. And then the book is being the book is being written by one professor or n professor or n professor. So this is called multiplicity. This is called cardinality. This is called multiplicity. Okay? And in association and composition and aggregation, you have to specify 3 things. First, the nature of the relationship. Second, what is the role of each class in the relationship? Third, what is the cardinality or the multiplicity of this relationship? I will repeat. The relationship name is wrote. The professor wrote a book. So the professor can write no books or n books. The book is being written by one professor or n professors. The professor is the author, and the textbook is the textbook. This is the role of the professor is the author, and the role of the book in this relationship is being a textbook. Fine. So this is what I have been described. The person and the company. The person and the company. The person belongs to one company. the company has one person or in person. What is the kind of this relationship? That the person works in a company. What is the role of the person? He is an employee, he or she is an employee. What is the role of the company? It is the employer of this person. So this is basically association. I need one person with me, one person with me to guide me into this kind of relationship. Unfortunately, we will finish 6:45, ya Jama'a. Unfortunately. We spoke a lot at the beginning, so we'll finish 6:45. And because you are dear to my heart, I will have the lab at 7:15. Okay, so I need one volunteer with me.
I can, Doctor.
One volunteer. Oh, some people wrote their names. So I'll go to Ikram. Ikram.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, ladies first, of course. So I will
Okay,
go to I will choose you. So so in English, forget about UML and such CAB and C++ and all such beautiful stuff. So can you describe the student, department, and course relationship in English?
The student is part of a department
Yes.
and is taking a course.
Yes. And what is the role of the department here?
The role of the department is to organize the students' courses.
Exactly, that's perfect. And what is the role of the course in this relationship?
Give information to the student.
Yeah, this is related to the student, and you forgot the department. So the course is being taught in a given department. Yes. So this is unary, binary, or ternary relationship.
Ternary relationship.
Ternary relationship, or in general, it is in relationship. So it can be ternary, it can be four-way, it can be five-way, whatsoever. Yeah. But I mean, ternary is very complex indeed. Yeah. So the course is being taught in a given department, and the course is being attended by students. So the department contains 0 to n courses, and a given course is registered by 0 to n students. So someone will tell me this is not realistic. So very important, and I repeat, very important, and I repeat, very important. It's very important that you write, after you write a class diagram, you write your assumption about your class diagram. And from where did I get those assumptions about the class diagram? The one who answers right will get 3 bonuses.
Can you repeat the question, Dr. Marish?
So I repeat the question. So in every class diagram, I have to state my assumptions. So Yasin or Fedi will come to tell me in this small diagram. So Yasin or Fedi will come to tell me, oh doctor, a department cannot exist without any courses. Or he can tell me the course, it's not realistic. The course is not, cannot be registered by 0 students. So he can argue this is not realistic. So my question is, from where did we get those assumptions?
From the person who asks
Real
you
life.
to design.
So Yasin, you can say, and Fedi, if Yasin make it correct, so you have to tell me honestly, this was your intention or not, okay?
Okay.
So Yasin, speak.
Is it based on the information provided to you by the person who asks you to design the program?
Exactly. So it is basically from the business requirements. Thank you, Yasin. You get 3 bonuses. So Fedi, what was your answer?
أنا كنت أقول حاجة تانية.
طب كنت هتقول ايه طيب؟
بقول من
صح.
من الريل لايف يعني من الحياة اللي بنمر بيها في
well, this answer is also right. Okay. By the way, in real life, يعني when you're working in the company, sometimes the customer will not tell you every detail, so you have to assume. So you're potentially right, and Yasin also is right. So the customer might tell me explicitly that the course that I can have a course without any student that they are registered in the course. So both of you are right. Okay. Thank you, Freddy, for your honesty. And it is a right answer at the end of the day. Okay. So we'll go again. Those C++ complex code, I will give you them in next lecture to review some concepts while understanding how to write association, aggregation, and composition. So aggregation and composition. So if you look at this part, this is basically a relationship between the leg, hand, and head, and a person. So basically, this is a composition relationship. Can any one of you argue whether this relationship is right or wrong? Or it can be right and it can be wrong. So tell me,
The one
do
on
you
the
think
right?
this relationship is right or wrong?
هو leg isn't composition.
اللينج والهيد
hand.
والهاند يبقوا
I think head بس هي ال composition.
head بس أيوة.
Yeah, this is possible.
والengine مش aggregation. I think engine composition.
Yes, that is potentially. It all comes with your assumptions. Yes. So there are things that are logic. So the engine can be composition, of course. But do you think that the engine inspection and the engine, who is the fan of the car? So is it aggregation or it's composition?
The engine?
The engine inspection, this class. And the engine. It is
aggregation.
Composition.
It's aggregation. Why is it aggregation, Abdurrahman?
عشان like the engine or the car can survive من غير inspection for a while, I guess.
Yes. So this is an argument. Can anyone argue that the engine inspection, by the way, just to make it state, there's inside each car there's a symbol for check engine.
Yes.
Yes, and if this symbol appears, so you have to take care. So it can be as simple as your fuel is decreased, or it can be as dangerous لا قدر الله that the engine will not work anymore. Anyways, so the engine inspection, is it aggregation or composition? If the engine inspection is the check engine lamp.
Doctors aggregation.
Aggregation.
I
Why?
guess if the lamp is on يبقى composition.
Well, Abdurrahman, classes, they don't tell you the state of the class. It tells you that there's a class called engine inspection and there's another class called engine. That's it. So is it aggregation or composition?
Aggregation.
We agree that it's aggregation. Can anyone argue that it is composition?
So, دكتور معلش انا في الاول I meant composition because من غير الانجن the car won't move.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, Muhammad, the relationship between inspection class and engine class, not the engine and car. يعني الكلاس ده engine inspection and this class engine.
هو الانسبكشن ده لايه بالظبط؟ يعني ده الايرور اللي طالع في العربيه؟
That check engine symbol, if you know it, yeah.
لا, this is aggregation. The car can still move. Yeah.
هو
Yes.
I think يا دكتور لو الانجن فيه مشكلة وما فيش engine inspection
No, this is a way of class diagram. Once again, a class is an abstract entity. I am not telling you the object is a live entity. The class is an abstract entity.
I think
So,
it can't be a composition because engine can't survive alone without engine inspection.
yes. Yasin, what's your opinion? Can it be composition or not?
That's what it is.
Can be composition, can be aggregation, depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, is there a use case or is there a scenario that it is a composition?
The engine is totally broken and it's composition. If it says your fuel level is low, then it's aggregation.
But here you associated the state of the engine with the check engine, yes? So the class diagram doesn't tell you the state of the. Anyways, I'll answer. By the way, Yasin, you're right at the end of the day. So if you have certain situation where you have a class like the leg and the person, it can be aggregation and it can be composition. Okay, so the best practice is to put it at the strongest relation, which means composition. That's why you will see the leg and the person as a composition relationship. So I'll explain it in Arabic. So طالما العلاقة ينفع تبقى composition، اعملها العلاقة الأقوى أو the more strict relationship, which is basically composition. Okay. So anyways, this is a philosophical discussion. So we will move. We have just 5 minutes. I tell you. So the room and the house, is it aggregation or composition? Someone tells me. The room is a class. Composition. So composition. Yes, because the room should exist in the house, and the house cannot be without any rooms. So if I tell you the person and brain, this is composition, car and wheel, this is composition. So just few minutes, not more than few minutes. Ana اسف. Not more than few minutes. I need friend with me. So anyone wants to be with me?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, anyone wants to be with me, write in the chat. Of course, not the people who answered, yeah. Rather, you answered. Muhammad Faghali, you will be with me, okay? So, Muhammad Faghali, or Faghali in short. So, how many classes in this diagram?
The rental.
Yes.
The customer.
Yes.
1 2 3 4. يعني classes عموما ولا الchild والparent؟
How many? لا عموما.
7.
Say 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 5. So, in English language, Muhammad, can you tell me what is the story of this class diagram? English. Don't use any object-oriented or C++ language.
It's a rental store where the customer rents DVD or CD or video game.
Yes.
And he pays by himself, so he gets the invoice, and
yes,
after he gets the invoice, he gets the checkout screen.
No, before he gets an invoice, he gets a checkout screen. Or after?
It's shown here تقريبا after.
It can be before or after. It doesn't matter for the class diagram. But you said an important thing that alert everyone. The class diagram doesn't tell you تسلسل الأحداث. the sequence of events. The class diagrams tell you how classes are interrelated between each other. There is another type of diagrams that tell you تسلسل الأحداث, the sequence of events. So before or after, it doesn't matter. In reality, is it before or after?
It's reality, the checkout screen first, then the invoice.
Exactly. So let's have each relation, yeah, Muhammad. So video game, CD music, and DVD music, they are children of
The rental item.
the customer and the rental invoice. It is what sort of relationship? What you believe as Muhammad, it is what sort of relationship?
I forgot the name. I think the
Aggregation means there's a relationship, composition part of whole, and aggregation part of whole. Composition, I can't live without you. Aggregation, I can live without you.
supposed
So
to be
customer
composition because
and the rental invoice, is it aggregation or composition?
it's aggregation because you can like you can go to the invoice. Well, you don't need the checkout screen except to check your final things.
No, I am saying customer and the rental invoice.
Oh, customer and rental.
Is it aggregation or is it composition?
Aggregation.
So it's aggregation. Can anyone tells me that it is a composition?
دكتور هو it doesn't make sense بالنسبة لي إن it's aggregation. هو يعني shouldn't it be composition عشان هو أكيد في حد بيشتري الأيتم عشان يطلع له invoice. هيطلع invoice من غير customer.
Exactly. This is a counter argument. Any other counter argument that it is a composition? You have to have an invoice. Even now, if you go at a barber shop, you have to receive an invoice. So, who believes it's an aggregation and why? Muhammad believed it's an aggregation, and he said, but anyone believes it's an aggregation?
دكتور هو مش aggregation اللي هو يعني they depend on each other and they must.
No, this is composition, my friend.
مش قصدي composition، بس بتلخبط في الاسم يعني.
ماشي. Okay. طيب, anyone believes it's an aggregation? Or all of you believe it's a composition? Okay.
هو الانفويس ده اللي هو like الريسيت يعني؟
الفاتورة.
يعني ممكن عادي الكاستمر ساعات مش بياخد الريسيت.
ممكن.
هو مش بيطلع له.
Yes. Okay, that's fine. طيب. What so Adham, thank you, Muhammad. What's the relationship between the rental invoice and the checkout screen? Is it association, aggregation, or composition?
يعني aggregation من ناحية ثانية هذا. احنا لو التشيك اوت سكرين الأول يبقى هو
No. Ask yourself one question. Checkout screen, is it a part whole relationship or not?
Part what?
Part/whole. جزء من كل.
Okay.
Yes or no?
Yes.
The checkout screen is part of a rental invoice? What's the relation? No, it's not part of. Checkout screen يعني ده when you go at the supermarket and then he scans the item you have and then you will have this screen telling you how much you should pay. And then after you pay, then he press a button and then the invoice go. So is it just a relationship or it is a part/whole relationship? Is it جزء من كل or is it just a relationship?
Just a relationship?
It is just a relationship. So it is association. Okay?
Okay.
It's a, rental item to rental invoice. I need a friend, the last friend in this lecture, So I need someone to help me in this kind of relationship. So
Doctor, I can.
okay, Tamer. Okay. So rental item and the rental invoice, is it part slash whole, or is it just a relationship?
Part/whole.
Part slash whole. So can a rental invoice exist without a rental item?
Oh, and supposedly a rental item cannot exist without rental invoice as well.
Yes, because the invoice, if there's an invoice without rental item, then this is an invalid invoice. تخيل انك عندك فاتورة من غير ما تشتري حاجة.
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay. So what I care in this lecture is not to write C++. What I care in this lecture is that you understand 2-3 things. First, you understand that the class diagram is composed of classes and the relationship. How to write, we are still in number 1, how to write classes in UML, the attributes and the functions, how to express a relationship between classes and each other. Aggregation means very simple. We have a relation. Aggregation means we have a relation. It is a part slash whole relationship, and we can live without each other. Composition, we have a relation. It's part slash whole relationship, but we cannot live without each other. So composition means ما اقدرش على بعد, as simple as this. Aggregation means ينفع نسيب بعض. But it's a part slash whole, جزء من كل. And then association, we just have a relationship. One day we are together, one other day we cannot be together. So thank you very much for this, and see you Thursday. We'll have some review together لو ربنا راد.
هو اون كامبس صح يا دكتور؟
إن شاء الله.
تمام.
Okay,
دكتور،
have
هو
a blessed
Thursday ما
night.
يكون هو
Yes.
Thursday
دكتور
ما
هو
يكونش في سيشن بعد الكلاس تو ريفيو، ولا هو الكلاس اساسا يبقى ريفيو سيشن؟
Well, class will be a mix of review sessions and very small new material.
تمام.
Doctor, هو you extended the deadline of the assignment, but it still
Yes, I
says like
did.
no, but like in Blackboard it says the old.
Yeah, I will extend it in Blackboard. Don't worry, Kam.
Doctor, I have a question.
Yes, Yasin.
When I did the class diagrams, I didn't include the plus or minus signs for private.
Well, you can resubmit Yasin and include the plus and minus.
Okay.
Doctor,
Yes.
هو أنا بس مش فاهم هو one of the examples مثلا في association when you asked about examples for chat كان حاجة زي company and the workers.
Yes.
Is it an association or not?
It's an association, yes.
طب مثلا AUC with students.
AUC and?
Students.
And the students? Well, AUC is a group of classes, so it's a little bit irrelevant to compare, yeah. But if you want the university and the students, so it is association relationship. You are associated to university, but you're not part of university. Yani, you're not part of whole, but you are associated to university. You can leave a university and go to another university.
Okay, بس يعني shouldn't students be like sort of a composition برضه عشان يعني what would
No,
be
it can't be a composition, but it can be an aggregation as well. Because you are part of a university. Yeah.
يعني how would the university be without students? مش فاهم.
That's what that's fine. This is a good argument. So it can be a composition. Yes. Okay, that's right, Adham. Once again, design is about arguing. So There's no right or wrong. There's something that makes sense and some other things that doesn't make sense.
Depending maybe on the use case. Yeah.
Depends on the use case. Yes, exactly.
Doctor, for the class diagrams, yeah, I don't have a template saved or anything. I can't just add the pluses or minus. So would you like me to redo it?
You don't have so
I need the file. It's just a PNG image. That's all I have.
No, that's fine. You can put it by hand, Yasin. Yani, I mean, you can print this picture and
Okay,
just put plus and minus and then scan it again and upload it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Doctor,
Any
will the
other?
lab will the lab be at 7:15?
Yes, the lab will be. I will tell Shahab for this. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye.
Okay. Thank you so much.
هو مش
Have a
المفروض إن
blessed
اللاب
night and see
recorded
you on Thursday, inshallah.
يا دكتور؟
Thank you, Doc. Doctor, I have a question though.
Yes, تمام.
هو جن ماي موديل المفروض يطلع لنا حاجة زي كده؟
نعم.
The website you told us about Gen My Model المفروض يطلع لنا
Yes.
حاجة زي اللي على الشاشة دي؟
أحسن من كده بكتير يا.
تمام اوكي. Thank you.
طب يا دكتور هو مش المفروض ان اللاب الهيدن لاب ريكوردد؟
مفروض
اصل لا انا بس عشان تقريبا امبارح it wasn't recorded ولا هي بتاعت شهاب بس اللي جت recorded.
لا ملهاش علاقة. I'll check with Shahab and I let Mayam record it يعني. I'll check with them and I let them record it يعني.
تمام عشان today بس شهاب's lab عشان لو it will be recorded بس.
Okay.
ماشي thank you دكتور.
Okay حبيبي.
Thank you.
Thank you.